Well, what struck me was the sheer outburst of anger that we're seeing from an entire generation of people. A large proportion of people on that demonstration were extremely angry, and some of them did take it out on property. That's clearly undeniable. But let's be clear, a generation of young people are being told by a cabinet that consists of 18 millionaires, all of whom received their higher education for free and with grants.
So your immediate reaction wasn't horror, wasn't regret, it wasn't dismay?
No, clearly, I heard what had happened, and for God's sake, let's hope they're not hurt, because that really would have been, potential media storm. But let's be clear, dozens of protesters are in hospital because of police violence. One has had to undergo immediate, emergency brain surgery.
Okay, but just on Charles Miller, I don't want to put words into your mouth, but you said you hoped nobody would get hurt, but you thought it was justified, did you? The sort of rocking of the car, the throwing of paint at the car.
Well, I don't think it's really for me to pass comment on that. I don't think I'm going to wade in and condemn, violence from protesters when
Well, shouldn't you if you're in charge? I mean, what impact do you think it has on your cause when people behave like this?
Well, clearly, smashing things isn't an effective political critique. The important thing to understand is the context and why people are doing this. They're doing it because the normal processes of democratic accountability are failing them. Now, we're calling on, waves of non-violent direct action.
But it is justified, is it? I mean, it is justified that it does articulate, it does expose and the sense of anger there, which you think is realistic and something which can be defended.
Well, personally, I would never organise it, but I think it's very important to understand why it's happening. And, the reason why it's happening is much more important than simply focusing on a series of media snippets.
Yeah, but it's not just media snippets, is it? I mean, do you understand the level of anger that people feel when they see the statue of Winston Churchill being defaced, Treasury windows being smashed, the Supreme Court being smashed up, and the heir to the throne and his wife being manhandled by a mob? Do you understand the sense of anger out there? I mean, you're talking about the sense of anger with students, but what about everyone else?
Well, of course, it's understandable that people seem angry because of the kind of portrayal.
But you're not condemning it.
Well, no, because I think frankly it's my place to draw some kind of perspective on this and see who in terms of violence to people, and that's what real violence is. It's violence to people. It was police horse charges on school children.
There was a charge of criminal damage as well, isn't there?
Well, there's criminal damage is damage to property. Real violence is violence to people, and that came overwhelmingly from the police. And the vandalism that we're seeing from the government outweighs 10 times the vandalism that we saw on famous public buildings, on statues.
So, more demonstrations I think you're proposing. Are you going to take more safeguards to try and prevent violence just breaking out on the fringes of these demonstrations?
I mean, we're always calling for peaceful, non-violent direct action. That's always been our line. Yes, we've called a new national demonstration on Saturday the 29th of January, and we're absolutely certain that this battle isn't over.
And just in terms of your organisation, do you have people on your secretariat, your board, who have been arrested and charged with any offences?
No, not that I know of, though we have quite a loose structure, so we don't really have anything official like that.
And if anyone were, would you expel them from your organisation?
We actually don't have the kind of structures in place to do that, but my initial reaction would be no.
You wouldn't expel them?
Well, no. I think again, let's draw some perspective here. I'm not willing to. Obviously, this is hypothetical scenarios. These are people who I don't know.
But perhaps
exist.
It's not a hypothetical scenario.
Well, as far as I know, none of our key activists have been arrested or charged.